All right. Hello. Good morning. Welcome back to another Tuesday deep dive. What is up, Liz? Nice to see you this morning. Let me adjust the mic here real quick. Sorry. Hopefully that's not too loud. First of all, thanks for checking out the stream here. For anyone who is new, if you don't know, my name is Tim. I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord, and I stream around this time each week, 10 a.m. here on Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Central Time, I should say. It's 11 a.m. Eastern on the Adafruit channel here, working on stuff related to CircuitPython. If you don't know what CircuitPython is, you can learn more about it at the main website for the project here, circuitpython.org. This is basically a version of Python that runs on these tiny computers, which are called microcontrollers, these little devices here. And the way it works with CircuitPython, when you use it to program these devices, you typically will plug it into your computer with a USB cable. It's going to show up like a thumb drive. You can edit a Python code file on that drive, and then when you save it, the microcontroller will actually interpret and execute that Python code for you. Excuse me, and then the code itself can interface with whatever other little electronic widgets, doodads, what have yous that you connect to your board. So some of these are very general. They don't really have much connected. Others are purpose-built. They have sort of like this educational device here, the playground. Has got a bunch of lights and sensors and a speaker and a microphone and a couple of buttons and a switch, IR. So it's kind of a all-in-one sort of learning platform. Others are even more specific than that, like this matrix portal is got a couple of I/O pins. You can hook up some generic stuff and do whatever you want with them, but the primary purpose of this matrix portal is this Hub 75 connector here, which connects to a LED matrix, so this device can drive the matrix, and that's its sort of primary intention in that case. So some of these are purpose-built to do specific things. Others are very general. The thing that ties them all together is the 660 of them here all support CircuitPython. CircuitPython is open source project that is primarily funded by Adafruit. Adafruit pays a team of folks, including myself, to work on CircuitPython. If you would like to help support them and CircuitPython, as well as other open source software that they contribute to by paying people to work on, right? There's Arduino drivers and other things that are outside the CircuitPython sphere, but are still quite valuable in our open source software that Adafruit pays people to publish and maintain. So if you want to help support them in their efforts in open source software, one of the easiest ways to do it is by purchasing hardware from them, which you can do on their website, adafruit.com. And if you check back later today, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, for JP's product pick of the week, should be streaming right here, the same places where you are able to see me right now. If you come back later today, you should see JP instead, and he will have a great deal on a particular product for you if you'd like to both support open source software and get yourself some hardware on the cheap. And I am jumping in today back to this Teenage Engineering EP-2350 is what they call this, EP-2350 Ting device. Ting FX. I don't see the FX written in a lot of places. It's on the actual plastic thing that belongs on the device. But I notice, at least if I'm recalling correctly, a lot of the documentation online, it will be EP-2350 first, which I think is like a model number, and then Ting is kind of the name they're giving it. So this device is what I've been working on lately, and I have been porting it to CircuitPython, figuring out how to get its audio codec chip working under CircuitPython, getting all the pins mapped, getting all of that stuff going. And the next thing that I would like to work on, which I'm jumping into today, is sort of making a new version of the original behavior, or similar to the original behavior that comes stock on this device if you just use it how it's intended out of the box. But we want to rewrite it with CircuitPython. And as part of this process, I'm also going to test something with the batteries. So one thing that I have found is under CircuitPython, I'm not able to power this with only the batteries, he says, as he unplugs it and it clearly stays powered. So that's neat. Okay, so we're going to take a very quick because like part of my intention here, we're gonna swap back to Teenage Engineering firmware. That is so weird. I swear that was just not working. Does this record? Testing, testing. Hello, 1 2 1 2. No. Okay. Yeah. As soon as I pushed the button to kind of make it do much of anything else, it died. And it normally it would come back on. Oh. Fascinating. So it's like sort of alive, but also sort of not. This time it did not die immediately. And it seems to be sending audio. Testing, testing. 1 2 3 4. Okay, well, this part of the mystery, I think, has just gotten a little more mysterious. I don't know how loud this is going to be, sorry. I'm trying to feed it through so y'all can hear, but also I don't want to blow anybody away. Testing, testing, 1 2 3 4. Okay, not too bad, hopefully. Okay. So I really don't know... I really don't know why it's coming on right now, but I guess part of what I wanted to test was under the stock firmware, does it work with batteries only? Well, more specifically with my batteries only, because I have this thing where I want to use rechargeable batteries because I hate just buying a battery that's like 1.5 volts and then using it and throwing it away. It seems super silly. So I have rechargeable ones. Oh, this just turned off. So did I do that, or I was jostling the batteries? Anyway, I have rechargeable batteries. They're cool. They recharge. You don't have to throw them away every time, but they are not 1.5 volts, which is a source of frustration in my life. I don't understand why they aren't 1.5 volts. I'm sure there's a very good reason. But they're not 1.5 volts. And what happens, they're like a little bit less is what, and so what happens is lots of hardware that's made to accept a specific size of battery is made to work with the voltage that specific size of battery is known to sort of have, and some devices are okay with these little like 1.2, 1.3, whatever. I forget exactly where they're rated, but they're a little under 1.5. Some devices work fine. Other devices are just like, nah, I don't want to power up with that. Put some real batteries in there. And I was thinking this was on the latter half of those, that it was just not working with these batteries, but now it seems to be, so. But I do want to get back to the Teenage Engineering firmware. So the way to do that is actually put this back, because this needs to be held in the entire time, which is a little difficult to do while you're also trying to copy files and stuff. Okay, and then with this held in, the reset button is here. So if we double press the reset button, sorry about that, I just bonked the microphone. If we double press reset, it should come up to Ting boot. But it is quite important. Astute among us will note, USB cable needs to be plugged in. You want it to show up on the computer. I don't know, does it just... Okay, there you go. Okay, it does just connect, or maybe it... maybe I caught it again and it did it. Let's see here. Chat says not 1.5 battery chemistry. Yeah, 1.2. So 2 points get you two batteries get you 2.4, and some along. Yeah. Yep, exactly right. And I don't know, like I said, I'm sure there's a very good reason. I don't know why they can't. The chemistry is different. I don't know why they can't use a chemistry that's higher and then step it down, like waste a little bit of space, or I don't know. I'm sure I'm oversimplifying the true problem, and I'm sure some very smart people have tried very hard to make it so that they're actually 1.5. But in any case, they aren't, and some devices don't like it. Yeah, as Ion U points out in the chat, and I was thinking this was one of them, but and suddenly we have it just working. One thing I do know is you have to hold the handle first, but I swear I definitely held the handle long enough. Okay. Yeah, pretty sure, I'm just gonna double check. I got a backup of this yesterday, I believe. Because this is gonna wipe the storage. Let me just make sure this is the latest one, which has the phaser thing in it that I was messing with. Yeah, there we go. There's batteries exactly that. They charge at Vive. They provide 1.5. They're built into electronics to the battery. Many brands, kind of expensive. There are batteries. Okay, I mean, maybe I need to go looking for those. Do they have, they're like form factors too? Like AA, AAA form factor? Yeah, I would totally trade longevity for oh, they are. That's okay. Yeah, I definitely need to look into that. Yeah, thank you for the tip on that. I definitely need to find some of those, because this is like, ask my wife, this is a source of I'm always complaining when the batteries don't work in something, and we're buying new batteries to throw away. So I will gladly, even if they're relatively expensive, even if they don't hold as long of a charge, I would happily trade both of those for rechargeable batteries that at least work in the things that are really wanting the actual 1.5. Okay, I do have a backup of this, so I'm just going to drop on the Teenage Engineering firmware, because in addition to the battery, the other thing that I wanted to do today was look at what the original firmware does. Like, I know vaguely how it works. I played with it a little bit when I first took it out of the box, but it's been a while, and I didn't play with it that much. So it's got a config file, it's JSON, you can declare your effects inside there. I think you can declare wave files inside there as well. And then the effects that you declare inside of that config file are the effects that are then available on the device. Because there's like 4 slots that you can use for effects. I wonder. Okay, I was like, I don't think. Yeah, so this is the thing is, like, right now this is connected in a very sort of bizarre way. It's flowing the actual device, this USB cable here. This is plugged into a Raspberry Pi, which is over that way. One thing I have found, which is what led me down the battery rabbit hole a little bit, one thing I have found is if you power it via USB from the same thing that you have plugged in this 3.5mm jack, and specifically in my case I'm using this little USB adapter, this cheapo USB audio adapter. So then I have 2 USB things. If I plug them both into the same computer, I get a weird feedback sound in the audio recording. But if I split them, so this is plugged into the Pi over there, and this is plugged into the computer I'm actually on here, then that's gone. So I was thinking the batteries would help solve that too, because power would not have to come from USB. Okay, so we should be back to stock firmware. So anyway, that's connected to the Pi over there. The Pi is connected to my computer with SSH. SSH is using SSH FS, I think it's called, to transfer files to make this available here. And so it doesn't refresh, basically. So we saw Ting boot past the time when it was actually gone. In loops are good, but only for specific. Yeah, that's exactly what I find. Is they're really good for the devices they work in, and then there's some devices which are just like, nope, not enough chooch, will not do anything. And then ground loop as the source of the feedback issue. Yeah, I think so as well. Okay, so let me see. I thought there was like a README, but I guess it's I guess that's gone. Alright, so here's a README that came with the firmware, but this is pretty much just release notes and how to upgrade the firmware. Originally, there was a README on the drive. I'm guessing just because it's been reformatted, that's gone now. I have a copy of it, though. I thought that it put itself back, though. Maybe there's like... Do I have to turn... But I mean, it is on. I don't remember how the stock interface works. Actually, none of the buttons are doing anything right now. Maybe it probably doesn't want to be banded anymore, honestly, because in the stock interface, in the stock firmware, it doesn't really need that. And in fact, yeah, that was stopping the other buttons from doing anything. All right, so now these are back to working how they do normally. These are back to working. Let me see if it... Would that have spawned a new file? I don't necessarily think so, but no. So, well, I guess what the ones that it spawns are on this. So by default, this firmware is split in two. I'm gonna call them partitions. I don't know if that's technically accurate. Two partitions. One of them, so ROM and FAT, one of them is Ting disk that shows up on the connected device as a storage drive, a lot like CircuitPython does, CircuitPy drive. And then the other one, so, and I don't remember which one is which off the top of my head. So ROM, all right, ROM is the internal one, and then FAT is the external one, which makes sense. It's formatted for FAT because it's a USB drive. So ROM rewrites itself. It got these files put back on it automatically just by virtue of me flashing the firmware. FAT does not rewrite itself, it looks like. So that one, we need to get the files back from the guide here, probably. And refresh my memory on the interface here. So this one has selected effects and FX mode, has sample select green button, and it shows which sample is selected with LEDs. It has sample trigger with the white button. The ROM can't rewrite itself. Oh, I gotcha, okay. The ROM, oh, can't write to itself. Somehow it does. Somehow it puts... Well, I don't know if it's writing it or if it's part of the firmware or what. Could be part of the firmware, I guess. Somehow, though, when you flash back the stock firmware, it does put main.py and a README file back into there. The README file is not super useful because you can't access it except through the REPL, really, but read-only memory. I guess it's baked into the firmware then. That doesn't make sense though. Only 20 minutes. Just shake. Trying to find real quick is the config stuff. If this is loading the firmware. Here we go. Okay, JSON file config. So by editing the file, you can completely redesign how it sounds, how it behaves, how you interact. Okay. Disk, yeah. Config JSON, eject it, restart. I don't know how to eject off the top of my head. We'll have to figure that out. JSON is strict. That's very true. JSON is very strict. ROM. I will say it could, like, ROM is also just the name of the folder, right? They could technically, like, just call it that, and it's not like technically exactly that. Possible as well. I haven't tested to see if it is writable from the REPL. You happen to break it and it freezes, don't panic, connect it to a computer. Hold the green and white buttons to access and fix the file. Oh, that's interesting. So there must be a fallback. If green and white are held while it boots up, or maybe any time, then it stops trying to parse the JSON file, which is presumably malformed and thus just raising exceptions. 3 main sections. You have the name of your pack, the samples. Okay. Can we have a list of these or no? The fact that it's the name of your pack makes it sound like you can have a list of packs, but I'm not sure. Samples, the list of audio files, or omit to use internal sounds. Effects chains, samples. So samples can be wave, mono, or stereo, 18, 16, 8, 16, or 24, or 32, 96 kilohertz, sample size, 1 megabyte? This is the full size available, though, not an individual sample. I think that's like how much space you have to work with total. One shot plays the full file once when triggered. Hold plays only while the button is held. Start stop, like it says. You play it, it loops. You you press it again, and it stops. Okay, if you want to use the factory, then follow these rules. Remove the sample section. Delete the entire one from JSON. Delete the entire sample section. Include the sample block. You must include effect sample inside the preset chain. See section 4. Otherwise, no sound is generated. Signal flow in the FX. To apply effects, place the sample block before the effect you want to affect the sample. All right, so that's just chain top to bottom, right? Yeah. Presets list defines the 4 slots, orange button. Each preset contains a chain of effects. Okay, so each one of those wave files also gets a chain of effects. Okay, let's just try to get the basic one working. It says, so you would do effect samples? One thing that's odd is all of these are lowercase, and then here, this is shouty, but it's presumably quoting JSON, but I wonder, like, is it just shouty because of the design CSS? And then you would do effect sample. So let's try to do effect sample if we can. Probably not actually hardware ROM, just USB device profile or FAT properties exposing a section of the firmware, but still can't be written. I don't know. I'm not sure what the name does really. So it said delete samples and then do effect samples. Or is it samples or sample? Sample. Presets. I don't know what. I didn't actually. That's. Didn't really get into presets, did we? Presets. Presets list defines the 4 slots. Effect sample. I'm gonna try to leave it empty and well, we can't, can we? We can't, probably can't leave it empty. We need to put effect. Oh, okay, this is where effect sample goes. I think I'm getting this now. I think this needs to actually be in here. And then where you put it in this chain would determine which effects actually matter. So you put it. Like it was saying, you either put it before or after. Did it say after? You keep it dry, place the sample at the end of the list. Okay, so this should just play the sample as normal. Now, one thing is these are supposed to be built-in samples, and I don't know if those would have been in the flash that got wiped, or... Okay. Played something for sure. They look rather loud. Okay. Oh, that's cool. I don't. Is that too? Let me know if that's too loud. I didn't actually. Fortunately, I wasn't looking at the sound meter. It's pretty loud. Sorry about that. Okay. I don't think we need the last one just yet. But those are working. Those must be the built-in ones. And theoretically, we should be able to... Oh, you know what? The volume is potentially maxed out on this. There is, in default mode, there's a volume knob here at the bottom. I left it all the way up. Yeah, it was basically all the way up. See if this is quieter. Decide which order I want these in, I guess. Matter. Not overlapping. Oh, no, it doesn't trigger. I got it too quiet. There we go. Alright, so that one stays on. This one plays once. That one plays once. That one plays once. Okay. Air horn. And then this has reverb, and so you can just put whatever effects you want. Distortion. They did distortion 10 as an example. Distortion takes an amount, a low pass cutoff, a high pass cutoff, and a mix. So basically, my goal is going to be to rebuild something that parses the JSON like this, and swap out the effects that are listed in here and supported by the MicroPython firmware. We're going to swap those out with all of the different effects we have in CircuitPython. What is sample? Sample was what we put effects on. No, effect was sample. But that is one of the ones. Right. Here it mixes shouty. Use once per effect chain. Okay, so theoretically we could stick in another effect here. But we would want... I think we want it after the sample, right? Because we want it to take effect. That thing said, if you put it at the end, then it will come through dry. So we want the sample to flow through the effect, I think. Reset. We're on this way. And this was the air horn. This was the air horn, I think, which was 4. So I'm just going to do that one again. And theoretically, it should be a bit different. Okay. It was a bit different. Wow, we got like Tarzan in there. Okay, that's fun. Interesting. Okay, definitely did something. Definitely took effect. Wow. Okay. What about the voice though? So all of these are all of these, so presets are the wave files, samples, I would call them. It is odd that we have both presets and samples listed as though they're kind of like different. But in my head, they're basically more or less the same thing. So I think somehow we can define the effects that manipulate the microphone. The 3 slots is the orange button. The orange button. Okay. Presets are not... Are they wave file? The presets... The preset list defines the 4 slots, which is the orange button, which is the top button, which, as I understand it, are 4 effects. But I guess what they are, though, is they're 4 effects that you can turn on and off at interface time, like at user time, right? What I have done here, I have distortion in my config file, and the distortion plays for the 4th wave file. I'm just going to call it a wave file so there's no ambiguity between sample or preset or whatever. So the 4th wave file now has this distortion effect on it, but you can't turn that on and off in the user interface here, right on the device. You can play it with the button, you can cycle past it and play a different one, but those are your only options. You cannot turn that distortion off here right now. But maybe if that distortion was not in the preset, so if that was not here and instead it was in just the list of samples? No, because samples are the audio files. Samples are the audio files. The preset list defines the 4 slots that each preset contains a chain of effects and modulation rules. So presets are the effects that would affect the voice as well. But because I did effect sample, it made it play sample instead of the voice. Is that accurate? So if preset 1 was just distortion and no sample, and we reset, and we should be able to just get dry pass through. Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoa. Some giant birds check, outside check. The window. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turkey vultures.
Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Alright, it's very quiet now, but I think it's there.
Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Be a critter that went down over there. And then if we turn this on with the orange button, do we get distortion? That's what I am assuming will happen here. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
There's like an echo. Yes.
Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. It's a little different. Maybe it needs to be more extreme. It's interesting how much easier it was to tell the difference with built-in effects. So what's the amount goes up to 40. Right now we're on 10. So let's crank that and see. Huh? That's convenient. Boy, it's gonna keep doing that. Okay. Or what's asking for that? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Accidentally hit the side button there. Okay.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know, that sounded plain. Okay, apparently. Hopefully that's gonna stop. Check, 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 check. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
Check, 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 check. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know. I don't really hear any distortion in that. It is weird though, because the first time there was like that sort of echo
Check,
type.
check. Testing 1234.
Okay, it's there still. It is still there. Built to save. This okay, this is what it was, I guess. Died. Maybe it didn't actually save and therefore it wasn't actually doing what we Ooh. Uh-oh. Alright, there's no easy way to turn it off. I guess you could reset. We may have like nuked the flash or something. Because it's no longer calling itself Ting disk, which is what it's supposed to. It does still show up here. And it still has both of those. But fat gets a Unicode error. Yeah, I think it got corrupted. I think it must be corrupted. Um... We're gonna try this without the rubber band. Ooh. Hmm. Uh-oh. That's not what I wanted. Still Unicode. We needed to wipe this. We needed to basically wipe the storage. It needs to like reconfigure Ting disk. I'm pretty sure somewhere in here are instructions. I guess we could try this. Green and white during startup. You get not enough disk space. Formatting Ting disk. That sounds promising. That's what we need. Connect it via USB-C. Wait for. So that's I mean that's part of the problem. We don't get that. Guess we could do it from the OS. I don't really want to do it from the OS. But not showing up as Ting disk. Let's try this. Power it up and hold those two and see if anything different happens. Do we have to keep holding them or? Probably not. So reset will power it off because by default it's powered off until you push this. So hold green and white and power it on. And I mean, hopefully I'm allowed to release these because I don't know how else I would do anything else. That still comes back as that. That still comes back as Unicode error. There's probably a MicroPython API to like format the drive. So in CircuitPython, this would be like erase file system, storage.erase file system. But I don't think that's a thing here. And this would like remake the drive, basically. CircuitPy drive. This come up as just 1 megabyte volume with no name on this side. So this. All it says is fat. Erase fat. And I presume we will choose the name here. Or unmounting. I think that might be because this is open. But now we're also entirely different interface. Okay. Out. Back is Ting disk. That's a good start. Does not have config on it anymore. On. Wish I could do new file from here. Okay, I'm gonna try unplugging this, which instantly powered it off for one thing. So then power it back on. Not working. Okay. Here is more like what I was getting with CircuitPython before. It's iffy. It doesn't always turn on. Sometimes it turns on and other times it doesn't. So I do wonder if it just does not really so much like these batteries. I'll have to pick up. I'll have to try to find some of the 1.5 ones. And then in the meantime, I suspect it will be easier for me to get normal alkali. So I just scratched myself. Does this record in effect? Let's turn that on. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. I guess that's the distortion. That's very it's very subtle. It's like an echo more than anything else. What is one of the other ones that we can do? So there's harmony, pitch. I didn't set the mix. I'm not sure what the default. Presumably it would be 1.0. Let's try harmony and change the pitch. So, effect, harmony. I guess, pitch goes 0.5 to 2. Go 2.0 all the way. 0.0. Boot is often the place where the current draw is maxed. The loading drops the battery voltage, could cause a boot cycle. I unplugged this. Sure the save is gonna work. Look like it's working. Come back as Ting disk at least. That does that sometimes. That's my computer thing. Of course, now it's like busy trying to save also. Okay, there we go. That's not good. It eventually did its thing, I think. Failed to save and then... Okay, it failed to save, but then it disappeared also. No, I don't. Not Firefox. And now I can't save. Yeah, the flash is just wrecked somehow, I think. No space left on the drive. There's barely anything taking any space. This thing, I have no idea what this is. Supposed to be only 125 bytes. It's just a copy of that file, actually. I don't know why it thinks the whole thing's full. Yeah, let me save it that time. 2.7 is common minimum voltage for SD card memory, if that's what they're using. No, it just has flash. It's a flash chip with only like 2 megs total. Firmware takes, I think, around half, and the other half is made available as that Ting disk. And there is a power chip involved as well. There's like a power in... I don't know what it is, honestly. I don't know what all it does, I should say. But there is a power chip that it gets fed through, I think, before it hits the 2350. Alright, so I did save that. Theoretically, I could unplug this. Reset, turn on, if we can get it to turn on. Yeah, it's kind of very iffy. Nope, no. I think we might be at the point where we've used just enough juice that we can't actually get through a clean boot. Because now, as soon as I release, it's just turning back off. Okay, I'm gonna It's kind of a shame, I guess, but I'm gonna this back over. Plug this back in this way for now. This back on. Boot's over there now, but theoretically we could do this. Wait, what is this one? This one changes those, right? Fact. Oh, accidentally hit the button. And again, I think. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know. I don't think that's doing anything. I don't think I've done this right. Maybe you need sample? Oh dear. Oh, this is gonna be wrecked. I'm gonna have to fix the flash again. Not gonna let it save, and it had that weird, that looked like a corrupted thing. I'm gonna have to fix the flash again. I don't think it's taking any effect, though, honestly. I don't think I'm understanding this part of this right. So I still am a little unclear on what is a sample, what is a preset, and what is an effect, and how can I use an effect on just the voice and the microphone, not the wave files. That part I'm not getting just yet. So the basic skeleton goes name, samples, presets. So you get both samples and presets. Samples is a list of audio files. Those are waves, or you can use the internal ones, which would be what I'm doing. Presets is the effects chains. Those samples are the waves, and presets are the effects, and maybe it's because I didn't push all the way. I've only been, so there's 2 buttons inside the handle, actually. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. I get nothing. Oh. Probably now it's wrecked because I tried to save that file. And it disappeared. Yeah. Okay. We are about at time anyway, so I think I'm going to wrap it up. But basically, I need to wipe the flash again. And I need to finish figuring out how this works, actually, because I'm still not... It could be the button problem. Could just be I had the config correct. It's probably corrupted now. But maybe this is correct. And it would work if I had pressed all the way in. I will say, though, there's like a bit of an echo that seems to be inherent. Because I am hearing a bit of an echo. Reverb is separate. Okay. And I mean, it has delay, which is a standard echo. It has an effect to where you could add one, but it seems to be doing it by default. Even though it's not in the list. Oh, you can declare LFOs in here. That's cool. I wasn't sure if it would let you do that. The handle can control an effect based on its position. Really? Huh. How could that work? Sorry, I don't want to guess leave us on a bit of a cliffhanger here. That's weird to me though. The handle can control an effect based on its position 0 to 100%. The reason that's weird to me is inside there's just like my understanding was there was just 2 buttons on the handle only. And one of them is when the handle is all the way out. So like right now the handle is released. It's all the way out. So it's pressing one of the buttons right now, and then the other button it's not pressing. And if I press the handle, like as soon as I start pressing it, it releases that first button that's there. So I start pressing and it releases the first one, and when I get to the end right there, at the very end, it presses the second one. But those are both just momentary switches. Neither of them would give you any kind of analog 0 to 100%. So there must also be like a strain gauge or something that is able to determine the torque of the paddle or something. I did not realize before. I'll have to figure out how that works. Bus routing. This is something we don't actually have in CircuitPython. I was looking into a way to do that, to split the signal so that you could have a dry copy mixed back to a wet copy. Hot or encoder. Could be. I don't know where that would be though. Have to be tucked up in there somewhere pretty well. I guess it would be in the fulcrum, in the rotation point within the lever. Yeah, I'll have to go back through the teardown, see if the detailed teardown page mentions anything about that. I did not come across it when I was poking around, but it could be, I didn't take the whole handle off. It could be up in there somewhere. Okay, that's going to do it for today. So I got part of the battery mystery solved. It can run on batteries, but I do think maybe we have the low volt battery problem where it's not very consistent, so I shouldn't rely on it without getting better batteries. And I started to figure this out. We got the wave files sort of understood. We got the way to do effects on the wave files understood. The next piece, though, is needing to figure out how to do effects on just the voice, which I'm thinking may have to do with the handle, and may potentially be I just did not get the config right. Those are my 2 guesses right now, is either the config's right and I would have had to just press the handle all the way, or the config's wrong and I still need to figure out how to do it. Maybe we need to put effect something besides sample. Maybe it should be effect voice or mic or whatever. I'm not sure. But that's where we made it to. I will continue working on this off stream. I will be working on porting it to CircuitPython so that we have an analogous version that works mostly the same way, as well the same as it can. There are going to be some differences because we don't have the exact same effects and we don't have the exact same capabilities, especially that bus I was looking at there. So it won't be the exact same, but it will be in the same. It will be in the same theme, the same vein, so to speak. Like I mentioned at the top, be sure to check back later today on the same channels where you are seeing me here. You should find JP later this afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, with a product pick of the week where you can get yourself a great discount on whatever's product of the week it is this week. I should be back, I think, next week at the usual time, and I believe I'll be around on Saturday over on my own channel for the morning stream there as well, although I'm less certain of that than I am in being back Tuesday next week. So, until then, so long, farewell, thank you for watching, and I do hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and week, and I will see you later.